This is the third show today, and we have had such a blast, and so many people love this. And I am here representing Mayor Koch. My name is John McDonald. I'm the Special Events Coordinator for the City of Quincy. Applause for John! Is that on video? Is someone getting that on video, please? Oh, up there. Thank you. So, are you getting my belly, though? Can we just do from here up? Thank you. I'm an Irish twin, right? My sister was born, I was born September 9th, she was born September 8th. And you know what an Irish twin is, right? She got the mustache, I got the man boobs. That was funny, you should be laughing more. So, okay, so we do events every month, starting in February, and we go till November. And out here on the Hancock Adams Common, we also have our annual Food Truck Music Fest with 35 food trucks, 2 or 3 big bands, and some, we have 5 children's entertainers. That's a big day. It's always the first Saturday in October. We have something coming up that I think a lot of you might know this music and might be interested in. You'll get one of the flyers. We have Quincy's own version of Woodstock, minus the sex and the drugs. So then we have a Pat Benatar show, we have a Jay Giles show, and then the headliner is a Rolling Stones show. And we're doing it out on the grass. Instead of doing it like we do in front of City Hall, it'll be out on the grass. So bring your picnic baskets, bring your blankets, bring your hacky sacks. You know, enjoy a different view for doing events. That's May. June, we have Kids Fest. That's June 20th, and on that day, there's also a watch party for the World Cup. That'll be over at Kilroy. And then, what else, Daniel? What's the other third one on June 20th? No, we can't, there's something else, but it's not related to us. Then we have Flag Day coming. That's the annual huge event. And because it's the 250th for the United States, we're up in our game. So everything that I'm mentioning all has some flavor of the 250th. Then in July, onto Thursday night, kicking off the whole celebration of the July 4th weekend, we have an amazing 21-piece swing orchestra. We have a guest from The Voice who's going to be singing with them. We have the color guard and the fife and drum. They're going to come in, and then I can't tell you, but there's like 4 major surprises, like not to be missed surprises. That's from 4 to 9 p.m., July 2nd. Then July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we're at the Maritime event over at Marina Bay. And then the week after that, Quincy's getting a tall ship. I know, so that will be happening at Marina Bay. That's after the July 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I think it's the next weekend. And then in August, we have our 70s, 80s, 90s show. We're bringing in a name act that you will love. I just haven't signed on the dotted line yet. But they told me that they used to play at the Carlton House. Do you remember all right, I'll tell you who they are. Do you know the Blue Notes? They're coming. So, but they used to play at the Carlton House, and guess who they opened for, and the tickets were $10? Tina Turner. Tina Turner was in Quincy performing at the Carlton House, which is now Best Western Adams Inn. How that happened, I don't know. And that's, what did that get to? That's August. September, we have the annual Quincy Symphony, Quincy Choral Society Pops concert. That's out here. October is the Truck Festival. I think I'm forgetting something. Well, you know what? Go on to Discover Quincy, go on to the city page, go into the Quincy Sun, you'll find all of that. Be my ambassadors. Pass the word, tell people I went to this great concert, it was free. And then I'm going to end before I bring the band on. Coffee Break Cafe had to go, but we do have a beer, wine, and cocktail truck. And then we have we have a barbecue and a Greek food truck, and the tent is there for you to enjoy. They're here till at least 6 o'clock, okay? So, without further ado, let me read the intro and get them on stage. Sweet Hitchhiker is a tribute band made up of 4 talented musicians, which all grew up listening to the music of Creedence Clearwater Revival. This group is dedicated to the music of this American rock band. Put your hands together for Sweet Hitchhiker. Keep clapping, keep clapping.
I'm not going to lie to you, I never played it in church. It's the first time for everything. How's everybody doing in Quincy, Massachusetts? Thank you for coming to the show. So how many Creedence Clearwater fans are here today? Woo-wee! Look at this. Well, the real fans know for a fact that Creedence had 5 number 2 hits. Never had a number 1. 5 number 2. Just bad timing, I guess, is what it was. But if it's okay with all of you now, we'd like to do one of those number 2 hits. Would that be all right? All right. And all I need you to do is clap your hands and sing along real loud this afternoon. You ready? I said, you ready?
Baby, it's free.
Get back and look, take on the right rock. Just get back on straight and rhythm. You look fantastic. Can I just get a little more vocal in my monitor, please? Thank you so much. All right. So, you know, the funny thing about Creedence Clearwater, the band, and Mr. Fogarty himself, was they were from El Cerrito, California. They were not from the Bayou, never even been there. But John heard all these really cool songs about the Bayou and made you feel like he was actually singing from there, because that's where all of his inspiration came from songwriters. And we'd like to do one of the songs that he made famous about being down on the Bayou. It goes a little something like this. We could use some audience participation on the song that you guys.
Okay.
Actually, this next song was a number 2. Never to be confused with a number 1. Here we go. You ready? This was a number 2. For having 5 number 2s, I got a lot of them. But this song actually, if you believe it or not, Traveling Band was a number 2. And this was on the flip side of the 45. So it was like 2 number 1 type of things. It was no A and B. I'm going to tell you an interesting fact, boys and girls. Back then, they used to have a little record. It was called a 45. Do you remember those? And you had an A side and a B side. And this was the B side. And there was two other records besides the 45 size-wise. Do you remember what they were? You got a good memory on there. So you got 33s, you got 45s, and you got 78s, correct? Okay, so I'm going to let you leave here today with something that you didn't know before you came into church. Kind of feel like the priest giving you something. So here's the deal about those 3 records. If you were born in 33, you were 45 in 78. Last month when I look at Peace So far, so good. So, John was a big fan of the old rock and roll days, as they used to say. And this was one that was kind of a rocker, and Creedence decided to do their own version of it, and we'd like to do it right now for you. It is called Good Golly, Miss Mom. You got it. You guys are the bomb, man, I'll tell you. You are old kid, my friends. Let's do it. singing really well so far. This is a real sing-along song. Where you going? You can't leave. This song's really important. It's okay, you're excused. All John was a big fan of artists like Lead Belly, who did some cool songs. But before we do that one, no, you keep playing it. He's got $5 coming. Anyway, this was the first hit that we had on radio. Little Screaming Jay Hawkins. See if you don't remember, it's hard to believe how long ago it was. All along. Put your hands together like this. All seas in you. All seas in you. All seas in you. Baby, I love you. Seas in you. Like the way you walk. I like the way you talk. Like the way you walk. Like the way you talk. Seas in you. So now we're going to do the sing-along song. So this one was out before electricity, so. Anybody believe in UFOs? Good. That's how we got here. So the next one we're going to do is from the Willie and Poor Boys album. It was called It Came Out of the Sky. You remember that one? I thought there were Streeters fans here. How do you not know the song? I'll tell you what, I bet you when I play it, you're going to go, oh, that's the name of it? I'll sing it now. Okay. Are you ready? All right, let's do it. Let's do it, ready? No. I guess you guys are just number 2 hits, right? John wrote the song about a town out in California. It's called Lodi. I don't know if any of you nice people have ever been there, but if you haven't, you know, maybe you can get out that way one day. What's that, boys? Guess what I got? I got another cinema song for you. You're happy? Well, my buddy to my left is going to help me start this one down, okay? And then you can sing this too. Well, hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart, a sweet Mary Lou. I'm so in love with you. I knew Mary Lou. We'd never part. So hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Let's go. I'm very impressed. I'm impressed because this really isn't a crowd drinking alcohol. When you're drinking, you sing better. Or at least you think you do, right? All right. We need some audience participation on this song, ladies and gentlemen. Our drummer's going to start it off with you, and you can help me by clapping your hands, right? You're on autopilot now. You did such a wonderful job. Woo. So the funny thing about Creedence Clearwater Revival is they had a very short window of time from 1969 to 71. They broke up in 72 and really hadn't done much that year, except the last album. And then John went out on his own and he had a bunch of solo stuff that people really enjoyed. And we'd like to do one of those for you right now. Would that be okay? That's cool, because we were going to do it anyway, so. I wasn't trying to be funny, I'm just telling you the truth. Now, if you're doing a good job with the clapping of the hands. This might be one of the nicest towns I've ever been to with hand clapping. No, I'm serious. What is it? You got a beer in your hand? Oh, because you don't have a beer in your hand. Yeah. That's why it's easier to clap, right? Because other than that, you'd be banging the beer against your head trying to keep time. That gets nasty. There's no alcohol. Oh, in church. Well, there's wine in church, isn't there? Yeah, okay. Hey, listen, the hardest thing for me to do is watch my vocabulary. So far, I think I'm doing okay. What do you think? Am I doing okay? All right. Let's show them how the solo song goes. figured if you like that one, you might love this one. Anyway, it's another solo song that John did. And I like to send this one out to the girls. Here the one. Creedence did this song that was done by a few people, mostly soul singers actually, but John was a big fan of soul singers. So he decided that he and the boys would do a version of this song, and I think you might have heard it before, or at least you're going to hear it right now. Anyway, and this is another word in this participation song where we need you to clap your hands, okay? Is that a good idea? I think so. Let's do it.
Look
now. So we're gonna do a song off the Pendulum album of Creedence and it's called Hey Tonight, for those of you who are keeping score or worried about singing the right song. Want to make sure we do the right one. Are you ready? Do it up, brother. Guess what I got? A number 2 song coming your way. I know you all know this one. It was in a few different movies actually, so here you go. She's gonna date it.
I see
Stop the Rain. This was on the flip side, which was actually the A side. It was about a band doing a little bit of traveling across the beautiful country of ours, going to some different places, and what it was like being on the road. You guys have a good time today? Thank you so much. We're very thankful to come and play for the nice people in Quincy. It's always a lot of fun meeting new people everywhere you go. And Jesus, what song should I do? I know what I should do. You did such a good job on all the sing-along stuff today. Now we're gonna do this one. It's called the Midnight Special. Oh yeah. And maybe you help me sing it out loud. What do you think? Sound good? Okay. Most of you have done a fantastic job today, so I gotta give credit where credit's due. Y'all ready? You see the same old thing. Ain't no folk up in the table. Ain't no folk up in the pen. But you better not complain, boy. You get in trouble with the man. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. better not gamble. Better not fight. 77 for granted. Man, the boys bring me down. Next thing you know, boy, blow your head on fire. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a yellow light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a yellow light on me. Thank you very much. You were all a wonderful audience today, by the way, just in case I didn't tell you that. And we're going to do this song right now for our last song. And I'd like to dedicate this to all the veterans that may be in the house. God bless you. Thank you for your service. That's basically how it goes. They only listen to me. 1, 2, 3.
What did you say?
Tim Gettner, playing the bass.
John Gauthier, playing drums, took lessons right here in Quincy.
Oh my God, Dick DeSanto's drum shop. That's like my childhood. And?
Ray right here, guitar, Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Yeah. And of course,
Mr. Robert Black, it was a pleasure meeting all you wonderful people here today. Thank you so much.
all right, so before you go, we're going to get them to do one more, right? We can give this them, yeah. So give a round of applause for our sound team, Eric and his team, BJ and Tommy. Give a round of applause to the Church of the Presidents for letting us use this space. Daniel, who works in the mayor's office, round of applause. All of our rec department kids and city employees that help make a day like this happen. We will see you at the next event, which is the Pat Benatar, Jay Giles, Rolling Stones, Quincy Goes to Woodstock. Now, there's one bit of trivia. Of those three, who performed at Woodstock? None of them. I guess Rolling Stones were offered and they said no. But they're coming to Quincy! So we'll see you on May 16th. Give it up, let them do one more.
Thank you so much, everybody. You ready to sing one more?